Hello everyone, and welcome to the next section in the C++ programming course. In this section we are going to be looking at conditional programming, and for the first part we are going to be looking at if statements. Okay, so how do we do an if statement? So how we do this is we write if, and in brackets we write the condition. If you remember back to the previous section where we looked at conditional operators, and if that statement returns true or 1 as we saw before, it will execute the code in these curly brackets. Okay, so that's simple enough. If this statement given in the brackets is true, this code is executed. Okay, and now we can look at else statements. Okay, so these are pretty simple. All the else statement does is if this condition isn't true, if this condition isn't not true, it will execute this code. Okay, so that's simple enough. We can have a look at some examples in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so to demonstrate if statements, we will create a simple program that takes the input from a user of their name, and if their name is Bob, we will output your name is Bob, and otherwise we will output your name is not Bob. Okay, so that's simple enough. Okay, so let's do the first part. Let's get an input from the user. Okay, so we'll give a prompt saying please enter your name, and for the input we have to create a variable, so we'll say string name and scene name. Okay, so that's simple enough. Now if you remember back to the previous section, how can we check how can we compare two items? We can use the equals operator to check for equality. Okay, so now let's do so. To just revise that, what we will do is we will see out name equals Bob, like this. Okay, so if we just run that, okay, so now if we type in Bob, we will get 1 for true. Okay, so now we can use this in our if statement. So we can write if name equals Bob, and in curly brackets we'll do output Bob. Your name is Bob. Okay, and now if we save and run this, we can see that it should work, and we should get the output your name is Bob. Okay, so we have the output your name is Bob. Okay, so now what can we do? So now we have to write the code for if their name is not Bob. Okay, and if you remember back to the PowerPoint, all we have to do is we have to write else, and then in the curly brackets we can write what we want to execute. Okay, so here we will just output your name is not Bob. Okay, so that's simple enough. Okay, so now we can test this. So if we save and run it, first we will check if it works, if the name is Bob. Okay, so that works. Now we'll try another name that isn't Bob, and it says your name is not Bob. Okay, so that's simple enough. Now what if we wanted to check multiple things? For example, if their name isn't Bob, we want to check if their name is Alice, for example. Well, that's also really simple. What we can do is we can just write else if, and then give the other option or the other conditional statement. Okay, so here we can write name equals Alice, and we will just output your name is Alice. Okay, so what is this doing? If the name is first, it will check if the name given is Bob, and if it is, it will output your name is Bob. If this statement is false, it will check if the name is Alice, and if that is true, it will output your name is Alice. If both of these are false, it will output your name is not Bob, but we will write your name is not Bob or Alice. Okay, so now if we save and run this, if we write Alice, it should now say your name is Alice. Okay, so you can see your name is Alice. Now, as a test of your conditional operator skills, how could we do this but with only one if statement? Well, we could just do this, right? So we could just use and name equals Alice. So here, if this this should be an or. So if the name is Bob or the name is Alice, it will say your name is Bob or Alice. Okay, so that's simple enough. Or even better, what we could do is we could put your name is and then just put name. Okay, so now if we test this, it should work with just the one if statement. So we'll write Alice and it says your name is Alice. And here we'll write Bob. It says your name is Bob, so that is correct. And now we'll just put another name, and here it says your name is not Bob or Alice. Okay, so that's working perfectly. So hopefully you were able to follow along. I think what would be good is if you just practice the if statements and you can create your own little projects, and when you are comfortable, in the next video we'll just go over if statements again. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. Thank you.